Good morning, everybody. It is a winter day again, and it's because it's still February. We were thinking it was spring, and we were wrong. It's beautiful out, and for those of us who are enjoying the snow, I did enjoy shoveling my driveway this morning, even though I wasn't excited about doing it. Anyways,
can we check his temperature? I think he might have that's messed up, man.
It was
because he hasn't had enough to shovel throughout the winter, right?
Yeah.
I hear you.
My issue is just it's so fickle, right? Like, some sunshine and +9, and like all the snow is gone, and bam, snow.
I was wearing shorts on Friday. It was glorious, and Sunday afternoon as well. It was great.
Yeah.
I did not like having to put on short pants this morning. It was. I'm over it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, I think maybe I enjoyed it because I was like, hey, this might be the last one. Anyways, we'll see. We are wanting to just reflect back a little bit. On Sunday, we had Craig share his story, and there was a lot of really neat things and so many more things that I wish that we had time for, because I've heard bits and pieces, and I'm sure you've heard more because you ride with Craig, but just he's a real passionate guy. He loves Jesus, and he's just he was willing to share his story. I asked him on Thursday, and he said sure. Yeah. And so he came up and shared, and just really appreciated him. But just wanted to ask you guys what kind of stood out.
Well, I think it just two things, but actually one of them is from before Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. Because it was Wednesday night. We sat around the board table, and you challenged us with tell us a time you felt real joy and where was God in that. Mm-hmm. And then Craig shared, which was a smaller version of what you heard Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. And it was like, for Craig, that's a time in his life, though it was really hard and still is, like all of that recovery is hard. He found a joy and met God in that joy in that season. Mm-hmm. And that's why he came to share. Or, I mean, he's going to be here anyways, but he got up to share. Yeah. And that was awesome. And I just love that, and I remember you sharing with someone after the service even that, like it was kind of last minute, but it's something he's been living for a couple of years. And as he kind of went, that's a time where I had joy, and and God was in it, and I think we got a glimpse of that on Sunday morning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, and what I hope is very apparent through all of this, and even through this coming Sunday as well too, is the reason that Craig was able to share because we asked him on Thursday, is because he's already shared this 10 times.
Yeah, true.
And it's the same as when somebody asks us about our personal relationship with Jesus, we're able to say, okay, well, I've told this story before, but here, this and this and this and this all happened, and this is why God makes a difference in my life, right? And so when we practice telling these stories, it actually furthers the kingdom, but it also makes us more comfortable. And so that's why even as we hear testimonies of people of their baptism and of membership and all of that thing, when we hear those stories over and over, and when we say them over and over, we become less scared to share our story and say, actually, God can use all of this for His glory. And I think that's why, like, Craig was, rapid fire. Yeah, I'll tell you my story. Yeah, it might take 3 hours, but I bet you I can recall most of it.
If only someone wrote in Scripture, always be prepared to give the reason for the hope that you have, or something like that, right? That'd be a great line. Someone should write that. Which of course is it 1st or 2nd Peter? I always forget the reference on it.
1 Peter.
Yeah,
1 Peter.
It's definitely one of Peter's letters, and I think that's such a. Craig exemplified that this week, and that's a really cool thing.
Do you know? Sorry, you got me thinking about that passage, and it doesn't say always be prepared to give the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Right. It doesn't say always be prepared to get it right and don't say anything wrong. It says always prepared to give a reason for the hope that you have. Yeah. Right? And so that's our story. And our story, if we're followers of Jesus, is about Jesus is my treasure, Jesus is who I love, and here's what he's, what following him is meant to me. And that's what it talks about, right? That's witnessing. Witnesses are people who witness what they saw, what they experienced. And I think we often get worried about getting it everything right and having all the answers, and it doesn't say that, right? Like, if you don't know, I don't know. Let's find out together, you know. So, anyways, back to Craig. Were you about to say something?
No, just I really enjoyed and appreciated it, and I've been able to see, yes, through some of our cycling, but when we stop for Tim's, to be able to hear some of those things of, man, God really got a hold of me in this moment, right? And sometimes it's funny too how, like, we think we're either going on the right path, or we kind of have a bit of a Jonah moment as well too, where, you know, God says go this way and we kind of head this way, and all of a sudden God gets our attention in ways that we, right, like even the way that he described, Craig, you are so close to death right now, right? And not that God should have to scare us all the time, but God sometimes has to scare us in order to get our attention when we ignore him. And I don't know if that's exactly what Craig said, but I know that that's often, for some people, that's part of their testimony in saying, I just was not paying attention. And so the fact that God was merciful and great, and he got my attention before I got onto that operating table, and just things like that, like to have to try and retroactively have those conversations of, like, you know, to be in the States and then all of a sudden to have a heart issue and to have open heart surgery and look at that, now I have a huge amount of debt and, like, all those things, right? Like, God chose a different plan even from that you can still say, you know, God had his hand on me in those times.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really appreciated about what he shared is that you also saw the way God used other people. There was other people in Craig's life listening to God who then just acted. Like the fact that his neighbor Rob, who is a pastor in town, also, like, just felt prompted to call him and just did, and then was obedient to the Holy Spirit in that. And even Craig saw it as, you know, God's work to get his attention, and you being there when he woke up, right? Like, you went there for whatever, you know, all the various
totally
reasons.
Random.
It wasn't because you're like, I need to go see Craig.
However, somebody said after Sunday morning, they said the real superhero of that story was Jesus and Deb. The fact that Deb has walked this whole thing and, like, gone along and, like, you know, supported.
That's always the case, though. Right? Like, it's the caregivers who, and maybe it's because I'm married to a caregiver, right? Like, you hear the stories, and like, okay, it's the other. It's hard to go through that, but I think it's often even harder to watch someone go through it, and all of that.
It was interesting because I think Craig has expressed sometimes that Deb's like, "What? Do you really want to go riding? Like, is that good for you?" And yet she's the one that's driving him back and forth. I hadn't heard that part before. That's pretty cool that she was willing to do that, even though she wondered, "Is this the best thing for you?" Well, our story, it's so good to share our stories with each other, to be a part of each other's stories. I mean, even as Craig was talking, you could tell, you know, he named different people that are usually in his life group, and that's why life groups are so important. If you're wanting to be a part of one, we still want to get you in, but if you are one, you realize how meaningful those relationships become. And sometimes they start off hard. I mean, you know, like, you're in this life group with people you're just kind of put there, but then over time they become really close and meaningful because of Jesus, really. I mean, that's what draws us together, you know. So looking forward, this Sunday we have another Brad Long, one of our deacons, is going to be sharing his story, and I'm excited about this one as well. He has a story of struggle and of suffering, and we get to hear it as he shared it with me, and I was able to ask him questions. I just asked if he'd be willing to share, and he was. So we're excited to hear that. It's also Communion Sunday, so you have that to look forward to on Sunday as we come around the table together. We have a couple other things coming up. Chris, and something that we wanted to reflect back on. Friday night was something interesting.
Last Friday it was interesting. I know we had our Friday event, and it was fun. It was great. We just got kids together as a small group, which is, I think, well suited for where we're at right now. as I've shared with a couple people, it was like pretty much half kids from our church and half kids who are friends of kids in our church, and that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And so we just connected. We built relationships. We talked about, we did look quickly at Psalm 1 and just kind of presented the just a thought from that. And man, those nights just come and go in a whirlwind. It was really a beautiful thing. So. Yeah,
I appreciated that you had most all of your leaders were youth who had come up through youth or were in youth or are in youth.
Yeah,
and then I was surprised to come back. Sorry, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was surprised to come back Sunday morning and see that the sanctuary all set up really nice. And I was like, Chris, who did this? And he named one of the one of the youth who just took it on, and so that's really cool.
We have an incredible group of youth, and I want to be careful because or be clear. That's the word I'm looking for. The ones who helped, yes, they're incredible. We have incredible youth outside of that group that just weren't there helping, and so it's such a privilege to be working with these young people and. It's like I said, it was a whirlwind, and my kids definitely got home afterwards and crashed, and it was a good thing.
Yeah,
and it was that was definitely.
So they crashed before you, like
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, well,
that's
so
normal,
you still have some youthful energy left. That's great.
That's right. I know they call me a dinosaur, but I'm not.
There was something else you were going to tell us about coming up.
Oh yeah, because if it happens on a Friday, apparently
it's you.
It's me this week. No. This like tomorrow, unless you're watching this on Friday, which is today, or Saturday, which is yesterday, whatever. Anyways, March 1st is this Friday, and just a quick reminder: if you are joining us for Faith Night, don't forget it's March. February's done, and it's March 1st, and we'll be at the arena. And if you so if you picked up a ticket, great, see you there. If not, we'll try and catch you next year.
There's a couple things to tell us about too.
Yeah, there's a couple things going on. So that's March 1st, and then there's some other stuff happening. But one of the ones that we kind of want to point to, and we kind of want to explain, but Jeff explained it kind of on Sunday, is it's been a couple months now since our friend Steve Jones passed away, who was like you said, pickleball legend. He had the shirt to prove it and everything. So therefore it must be true. So he really loved pickleball, and last year we actually set up a pickleball court in the sanctuary, and just a couple of us just played together, and so it would be just very awesome just to not only honor him, but actually have an opportunity to be together as just as a church, just to hang out and have a fun night. So we want to put together a pickleball night, and so we've played in there. We know it actually works pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's indoors from the winter, so that's an improvement. But the chance just to be together and just play. And so we have a sign-up list that we want you to sign up if you're wanting to play. Each one of you has to sign up individually, and so you need to make sure that you go to this Google form and fill it out so that we can put people on teams as we're able, and it'll be just a really fun night. So it's Tuesday, March 12th at 6 p.m. We have to try and get through quite a few games, so we're starting it at 6, and it'll go till whenever, so it's kind of like teens and adults, and we just want to move very quickly through some of these games, but really have a good night. This is a spectator sport as well too, so we'll have some chairs set up around the outside for those that are able to come and cheer and just encourage, and it'll be a great time, and so we invite you to that.
Will there be snacks? Because I'm just in my head all of a sudden I'm going, hey, we should take some pickles and we should cut them up. We should deep fry them and then like batter and deep fry so they come out in like a ball form.
Oh, nice.
And then we could serve pickleballs. And you can eat pickleballs while watching pickleball. I think we just got to market this.
Yeah, there you
go. So if you have a vision for that, talk to Chris. All right. Sorry.
I got the vision. I just need people to do it. Let's do this with the peanut butter dip.
Sorry,
it's a peanut butter dipping sauce.
Yeah.
I think
you shared Chris's vision is what I should have said.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Excited to help, but anyways, I think that's what we wanted to bring to your attention today. We're excited to see you on Sunday. Hope you have a great week. God bless you, and keep keep asking God, what's my divine assignment? That's what we've been talking about. What's my divine assignment for today? That's part of how we walk in the Spirit. So I just want to keep encouraging you in that. So have a great week. We'll see you later.